Okay, here we go.
Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Order! Halt! By one. Forward.
Big crowd here for Flag Day and U.S. Army birthday celebration.
Good morning, everyone. Thanks for joining us. Today, obviously, is Flag Day. It's also the 250th anniversary of the Army. I had a bunch of things in my mind that I wanted to say. And as we were out putting flags down Estero Boulevard today, someone was very objective to what we were doing. And it reminded me of what the flag symbolizes. It allows you the ability and the freedom to be able to speak your mind, say what you want to say. And although she was not very happy about what we were doing, and for a brief second I was a little upset with the fact that she was upset that we were doing what we were doing, it reminded me that that's what we're here for. That's what the people that we're going to honor today have fought and died for, to allow us to have the ability to say what we want to say. So thank you all for coming. Thank you for my fellow council members who are here, our town manager, Will, the LCSO, the Color Guard, Chief Worth, everyone that's here today to celebrate Flag Day. We're going to try to keep this as brief as we can. We're going to start off with our town manager, Will McCanney, and his wife, Deidre, who's here, who both served honorably in the United States Army. I have nothing, as you can see on my sheet, as his bio, because it's a very tough man to find any information on. So I'm going to let him tell his story without any further ado. Yeah, come on up, Will.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Mayor. We're humble people. So Deidre and I both did serve in the U.S. Army, met in the U.S. Army, Missouri, and proudly served. Deidre herself served in Korea, and then at Fort Leonard Wood, and then together we continued to serve multiple locations across the globe and across the United States proudly, and it's always will have fond memories to us. I have just a few words I wanted to say about Flag Day and the 250th birthday of the U.S. Army. So ladies and gentlemen, fellow veterans, distinguished guests, and proud Americans, today we gather to honor two symbols of our nation's strength and perseverance, our flag and our Army. On this Flag Day, as we reflect on the stars and stripes that wave above us, we also celebrate a milestone in Army history, the 250th birthday of the United States Army. Since 1775, American soldiers have embodied the highest ideals of service, sacrifice, and courage. Older than the very nation it defends, the U.S. Army has stood as a shield of democracy, protecting our freedoms and safeguarding the values that define us as Americans. From the fields of the Revolutionary War to the farthest corners of the globe today, the Army has answered every call, standing ready to defend the Constitution and our way of life. This will defend is the motto of the U.S. Army. It's a sacred promise, one upheld generation after generation. Our Army's legacy is built on unwavering loyalty, duty, respect, selfless service, honor, integrity, and personal courage. These principles guide our soldiers as they march into battle, as they rebuild communities torn by disaster, and as they stand guard so the flag we honor today continues to fly in freedom. As we can commemorate the historic 250th anniversary, we also highlight key moments in the Army history. And some of the people who served during those moments are with us today. Not the Revolutionary War, of course, but the triumph of the World Wars, battles in the hills of Vietnam and Korea, the deserts, battles across cities, deserts, and mountains of Iraq and Afghanistan, numerous peacekeeping, humanitarian, and disaster response missions across the world and here in the homeland. Each victory, each act of bravery has strengthened our nation and cemented the Army's role as the most formidable land fighting force in the world. The Army song says it best: first to fight for the right and to build the nation's might, and the Army goes rolling along. For 250 years, the Army has empowered its soldiers to be all you can be. More than a slogan, it is a way of life. Many of you might remember that slogan in its origin, and it has come back now because it really is a great one to encourage young people to serve. And as we look to the future, we know that this legacy will endure. This will defend today, tomorrow, and always. Thanks so much for being out here. So we'll pass it on.
That was the town manager, Will McInerney.
Thank you, Will and Deidre, for your service and being part of our humble town. Also, I forgot to mention Commissioner Maleka. Thank you for coming out today. Our next guest is Ron Loshbaugh. I hope I didn't butcher your name, sir. Ron Loshbaugh. Ron served with the 10th Mountain Division and 1st Cavalry Division. He deployed to Operation Enduring Freedom in Afghanistan from January of 2009 to January of 2010. He was hit twice while deployed and broke his back 3 times. He medically retired in 2015. Please welcome Ron.
Good morning, Fort Myers Beach. How's everyone doing on this beautiful day? All right, well, my name's Ron Loshbaugh. I got a little prepared written statement here. I don't have such a good memory. Anyways, my name's Ron Loshbaugh, and I'm a retired infantryman. And I had the privilege to serve and deploy with the 10th Mountain Division to Afghanistan. Spent 6 years there. Today, we gather to honor and celebrate the remarkable milestone of our country, the 250th birthday of the greatest fighting force on earth, the United States Army. I am filled with intense pride and gratitude standing here today, having served from May 2007 to May 2015 with a deployment to Afghanistan. I've witnessed firsthand the dedication, sacrifice, and unwavering commitment that defines our soldiers. The Army Sea legacy is just not in battles won, but in lives saved, communities rebuilt, and freedom defended across the globe. It's a legacy forged by ordinary men and women who rise to extraordinary causes and challenges, embodying the Army's core values of loyalty, duty, respect, selfless service, honor, integrity, and personal courage. For 250 years, the Army has evolved from a group of citizen soldiers to the most advanced, capable fighting force the world has ever known. It has faced every kind of challenge, from the frozen battlefields of Valley Forge to the mountains of Afghanistan. My time in Afghanistan taught me the true meaning of camaraderie, resilience, and facing adversity alongside my brothers and sisters. We formed bonds that transcend time and distance. We relied on each other, supported each other, and together we overcame obstacles that seemed insurmountable. The strength of the Army lies not only in the advanced technology, strategic prowess, but in the unbreakable spirit of its soldiers. As we look to the future, let us honor the Army's 250-year tradition by recommitting ourselves to the ideas of freedom, democracy, and unity. Let us teach our children not about the Army's battles, but about its bravery, its resilience, and its heart. Let us also remember and honor all who have served, those who have continued to serve, and those that have made the ultimate sacrifice. Let us also recognize the families who support our soldiers enduring long separations and constant worry. My wife can attest to that. The United States Army is more than a fighting force. It is a symbol of hope, a beacon of freedom, and a testament to the American spirit. Happy birthday, U.S. Army. As we continue to stand strong, united, and ever vigilant in the defense of our nation, may God bless our soldiers, our veterans, and the United States of America. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Ron. Quick story. Ron came up to me this morning and presented a flag, a folded flag that he found the days after Hurricane Ian in the mangroves. Will now has it, and he's gonna proudly put it up in the new town hall. So thank you, Ron, for bringing that back. Next is Joe Gilmet. Joe is the Senior Vice Commander of the Bonita Springs VFW Post 10097. Joe is retired United States Army Captain and a retired police sergeant from the city of Cranston, Rhode Island. Joe will have with him 94-year-old veteran of Vietnam, Clarence, who could actually be the oldest living veteran in South Florida, according to Joe. And I heard he's a ladies' man, so gentlemen, hold on to your wives.
Well, I can attest to that.
Have a seat. Want to have a seat or you want to stand up? Okay, perfect.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I have the proud experience of being here next to who I call Bob, who's our oldest living veteran of Post 197, and it's actually a Fort Myers Beach post. Bob served in Korea as a young man, and he's still serving. He relays happiness, camaraderie for everybody in the VFW. And I see Bob on a daily basis, usually 6 to 7 days per week. And I'm proud to stand next to him, and I'm proud to call him my friend. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm Joe Gilmet, Joseph Gilmet. My story starts as a confused 17-year-old kid. For my 17th birthday, my parents gave me a present. I thought they were going to give me a new car because I had a $300 junk that I drove with no floor. However, they gave me an enlistment into the United States Army. I was so young, I didn't shave yet. I served as an enlisted person. I made the rank of sergeant, and then my first sergeant told me, he said, rather than clean toilets today, there, young man, I'm going to send you to a building and you're going to take a test. And I said, what's the test for? He said, you'll find out. I took the test, I passed it, and I got placed into a 2-year military academy, whereas I graduated as a young second lieutenant, actually the youngest second lieutenant in the history of the United States Army. And I went on to serve in different factions throughout the world and throughout the United States. I did my 20 years. I served with proudness, I served with honor, and with extreme dedication. In fact, on my first combat tour, I I left
Can you
a
guys
child
hear?
that was less than a week old, but I had this thing inside my heart that said, I was rather old to be going into combat. I was about 35 years old. And I said that I have to repay what the nation, the United States Army, and the great people before me have summoned me to do. It did cost me a marriage. I was divorced after my tour, and I went on to serve another tour for Desert Storm, going out ahead of any troops, acquiring land to land a infantry division to move into Iraq. Years later, I was going back for my third tour when I had already had 20 years in, whereas I had a massive heart attack. And when I recovered, the Army said, "Thank you very much, Captain. We don't need your service anymore." So it was a rather somber day for me to leave the United States Army, as I was just making major, and I wanted to stay in for at least 30 years. However, I moved on. I was a policeman, and I served as a police sergeant, detective, major crimes, on the road, in the house, and I served as the detective commander for my final tour of duty. But I can all bring it back to one thing, that 17-year-old confused kid that joined the Army. Well, didn't join, that was made to join the Army. And to this day, I thank God, I thank my parents, and most of all, I thank the people that we've served, my comrades in arms, whom I shall never forget, and some of whom did not have the honor and the privilege to make it home. So I'd like to say in closing, thank you very much for having myself and my friend Bob here today to speak with you. And happy birthday, 250 years of honor, service, and we would like to remember those that did not come home. The 1.1 million servicemen throughout the years from Continental Congress in 1775, and again, the Army is older than the nation. And these 1.1 million men that didn't come home, we'd like to honor them today, and we'd like to give them in our prayers and our thoughts. Thank you very much. Have a great day. God bless you all.
Bob, stay away from my wife.
Bob's the lady.
I see him out there getting digits already. Thank you guys. Thank you for your service.
Thank you.
Next is Stacy A. Long. She's a retired Sergeant First Class and a decorated combat veteran with over 28 years of service to the United States Army. Her experience covers a multitude of areas from armor, logistic moving equipment, and personnel to remote locations. Specializes in weapons, ammunitions, strategic operations, and training for road to war U.S. and Polish soldiers, to second in charge of running a Marseille Training Center. Marseille's Training Center, training over 300,000 soldiers, Marines, airmen, and alphabet agencies in 3 years. After retirement from the Army, she took this experience and applied it to working for the Illinois Emergency Management Agency in training operations. She's the president of her nonprofit, which supports soldiers and first responders in need. She's also a mother to 7 children and 1 grandson. Wow! Come on up, Stacy.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Stacy Long. I'm here with my husband that you'll be getting to meet here shortly. I just want to take opportunity to thank the mayor, council, distinguished guests, Joe, got my eye on you, fire department, PD, and the opportunity to speak from my heart. Ed asked if I would speak about my service, and does anybody really want to know what I did? So I wrote that little ditty, and instead, I'm going to talk a little bit about this morning, and I have a little anecdote that I found on the Book of Faces. It says, you might think you're a badass, but are you a World War I veteran going to leave on Paris to compete in the 53rd Infantry Rifle, Pistol, and Musketry competition? Why that's important is that was my great-grandfather. I don't believe in coincidences. I believe that it was here and he was with me today before I came out here to talk to you. I started out in the 80s. That means I'm vintage for anybody that's doing any math. In the 80s, it was a little different for a woman to serve. Went through basic AIT. I went to jump school, Fort Benning, Georgia, and arrived at 82nd Airborne. When I got there, I had a qualification. They didn't need my qualification. So they threw me in a vault, hence the armor part. Hence my long love for ammunition, weapons, and all things training to be proficient. I did that for approximately 3 years, began a family with my husband. We ended up with 7 and a grandbaby. After that, I went on and I moved on into many different opportunities that came my way. I jumped on all of them. I enjoy training soldiers to the point where I was at Marseilles Training Center so much, they offered me a job, and then that was my last duty station. In between all of there, I was with infantry and artillery for most of my career, doing all of their logistics throughout any mission that we did. That was Katrina, that was, you name it, we did it. I'm trying to clean up my language here as I talk so I don't offend anybody, but it was pretty badass. After I did that and had number 5 in the queue while still in uniform, I also had the opportunity to start doing interagency activities. So locally, we would involve the community into our training and first response. I found my niche, and I've never looked back. Hence the reason in my retirement, I've continued on helping emergency management, writing policy, and SOPs, really boring things, but everyone needs it. As everyone here knows, after Ian, you have to have a plan. That led to, after retirement, going to the Emergency Management Agency. So it parlayed perfectly, and I had great opportunity to work with a lot of people. I've also seen the worst in people. I've also been to a lot of places that I don't necessarily regret. I appreciate the experience, but I never want to go back. At the conclusion of my career, I put that in there, the $300,000. Our facility took opportunity to be utilized because we had new programs in place and new systems and new weapons. Everybody wanted to try out the Gucci gear. That is why I had that opportunity, and I'm forever grateful for it. I will conclude with, again, thank you for allowing me to speak from my heart and without a speech, sharing my great-grandfather's little anecdote, and I will hand it off to the volunteer.
7 kids. Woo! I got 6 brothers, man. I know what that's like. That's a lot of pancakes. Thank you, Stacy, for your service. Next, we have Doug Brown. He is a retired command sergeant major and a decorated combat veteran with over 34 years of service in the U.S. Army. His experience covered the gamut from the operating room at the beginning of his career to responding to natural disasters, Afghanistan, and all the way through working at the U.S. Embassy in Poland. He possesses an extensive awards portfolio reflecting stellar job performance, team building efforts, top-notch communication, and technology proficiency. After retirement from the Army, he took his experience and applied it to coaching, mentoring, and working for the Illinois Emergency Management Agency and the training operations. He is also the father to 7 children and 1 grandson. Where are you at?
I'm right here.
Come on up.
Put 2 and 2 together, Stacy, my wife. Great job. I really don't want to talk about myself. That's not what I do. But in 250 years, there's some great history that went in the Army, so I'm going to tell you a little story. Grew up in central Illinois. My grandfather was a farmer. And growing up, he was in the Army, World War II. Very proud of that. He was a clerk. That's what we were told. So, you know, curious, asking questions growing up. Not a lot of answers, but, you know, we were proud of him. So I joined the military in '87. Now that I got to know a little bit more about what the military, the Army was about, started asking him more questions, and still not a lot of responses from him. He was a clerk. They were in Germany. did his thing. I'm still very proud of him. And then in 1996, the U.S. declassified the Ghost Army. And I don't know if you've ever heard of the Ghost Army. The Ghost Army is one of the first psychological warfare operations that the U.S. ever put on. And in Germany, what the Ghost Army did was they blew up tanks. They were made out of cloth. They put on fake uniforms. They played. They had sound systems that played like there was thousands of soldiers there. And what they would do is they would steer the Germans into a direction that they wanted to go, thinking that there was more soldiers there than there were. And my grandfather was part of this operation. He was part of the sound operation of it. Bill Blass, you might hear him in the clothing. He did all the clothing for this operation. There was about 200 soldiers, and they were responsible of moving, I believe they said 2.5 million Germans in certain directions that they wanted to go. And they were deep into German territory. So once this came out, he spent the rest of his life telling everybody about what he did. And it was amazing because I'd met some of his friends growing up. And once again, they were tight-lipped. I'm sure when they were away from everybody, they talked about their experiences, but it was amazing to hear all his stories. And to this day, there is a Ghost Army traveling exhibit, the Ghost Army Project, that's out there. You can see it on the website. They have a website and everything, and if you ever see it in the area, go see it. It's amazing. My grandfather passed away 4 years ago, but in 2023, me and my wife went out to Washington, D.C., where Congress awarded the unit the Congressional Gold Medal. Here's actually the gold medal for the Ghost Army. It was an amazing time to meet the few 4 or 5 remaining members of the Ghost Army out there. It was an amazing time. So thank you. One of the things I want to say is, we talk about us, we talk about the flag. It's the support of people like you that is amazing. Because while we're gone, doing our thing, you're back here holding the pieces together, keeping our families together. Not only our families, but you're giving our family support. You're also heroes in what we do, and I really appreciate everything and every one of you. Thank you.
Thank you, Doug. Our last speaker is Maury Gingrich. Maury is from the Fort Myers Beach American Legion. He is standing in for Vice Commander Jeff McQuaid, who is away at a convention. Come on over, sir. Would you like to come up here or just stay down there? All right.
I don't want to make that big step.
Well, if it supports me, it supports anybody.
No, it's support. Good morning. Happy Flag Day to everyone. I just wrote some notes down, so I'm not going to talk about myself. We are here this morning to recognize the 250th birthday of the United States Army. It all started on June 14th, 1775. Personally, I'm a veteran of the United States Marine Corps, which also dates back to 1775, but not until November 10th. My name is Maury Gingrich, and I'm here to represent the American Legion Post 274. I joined the Marine Corps in 1958, and I was awarded with a top secret government security clearance, so I can't really talk about what I did, but it was important. The American Legion was established by the U.S. Congress September 16th, 1919, in Paris, France. It was there because that was the end of World War I. Home port of the American Legion is Indianapolis, Indiana. It's the largest veterans organization in the world. The Legion played the leading role in drafting and passing the GI Bill in 1944. Our Legion Post is an organization of U.S. veterans known as Melvin Coward Post 274. Also included are the Sons of the Legion, Legion Auxiliary, and Legion Riders. Membership is open to all veterans with an honorable discharge from military service. So that's my little spiel. Thank you.
thanks everybody for coming out. You know, this idea of doing this came about 2 weeks ago, thanks to our town manager. Will just decided he'd bring up the fact that you know, this is the 250th anniversary of the United States Army, and he proclaimed me as the idea fairy, because as soon as he said that, my head started going, what can we do to commemorate him? And with the help of Beach Talk Radio and Ed and everybody that follows him, and the donation of the flags, if you get a chance, take a drive down Estero Boulevard. You'll see both sides of the boulevard are completely lined with American flags. Yes, absolutely. That was all from a lot of efforts of people donating. I posted it, and people were sharing it. All the property owners got on board and started buying flags and putting them out. Rest assured, we will have them all cleaned up tomorrow. That was one of the complaints I had this morning, so we will get those cleaned up. But thank you, Will, for bringing it to everybody's attention that today is the United States Army's birthday. We salute everyone that wears the uniform, whatever branch you're in. It's your freedoms that we respect. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody. We're wrapping it up, but I appreciate everybody coming out here today. It's really an honor to us and an honor to the nation. And at 10 o'clock, we're having a ribbon cutting down at Mound House for a new water testing station, partnership with FGCU. If anybody wants to join us down there, free admission to the Mound House will follow. Thank you very much.
All right, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us. It was a great celebration. What a bunch of great speakers. We are doing our show at 11, and so we look forward to seeing you then. Have a great day. Happy Flag Day. Happy birthday to the Army. See you later.